On the morning of the 7th of July 2005, a training exercise was taking place. Its purpose was intended to rehearse the exact same scenario of bombs being detonated on the London Underground at the same stations.
The thing that concerns me is that what are we doing for the thousands of men and women actually who are in London working? And I say that because at 9:30 this morning we were actually running an exercise for over a company of 1,000 people in London based on simultaneous bombs going off precisely at the railway stations that happened this morning. So I still have the hairs on the back of my neck standing upright.
To get this quite straight, you were running an exercise to see how you would cope with this, and it happened while you were running the exercise?
Precisely.
The odds of these two things coinciding within a 10-year period have been calculated by a standard actuary employed by insurance companies to be greater than 1 in 300 tetragillion. That's 41 zeros. To put that number into perspective, scientists have estimated that the Earth has just 7 quintillion grains of sand. A quintillion has just 18 zeros. Contrary evidence to the official report suggests that the explosions on board the trains and bus could not have been caused by explosives held in backpacks. Eyewitnesses reported that the floor of the trains were pushed upward, as if the explosion had come from underneath the train. After the injured and dead were removed, explosive specialists swabbed the scene, including victims' skin and clothes, with chemicals to find out what kind of explosive was used. We spoke to forensic and explosive experts that were originally assigned to investigate the wreckages, but who were pulled at the last minute. They had said in an unofficial report, not completed or released to the public, that evidence suggests homemade explosives would not have caused the effects shown. The damage is more attributed to that of at least military-grade explosives. However, using advanced techniques like proton-induced X-ray emission and electron microprobes, materials were found that do not match to any known existing bomb designs in the entire field of explosives. Extensive research must be applied to this explosive device. Additionally, it still remains unexplained why the train from Luton used by the 4 supposed bombers to travel to London was in fact announced as being cancelled. There was no 7:40 train from Luton to King's Cross Thameslink Station on July the 7th. On the 11th of July 2006, the British Home Secretary, Dr. John Reid, stood before Parliament and admitted that the Home Office report was in error and that the accused did not ride the 7:40 AM train from Luton to King's Cross. Despite the fact that the narrative provided still does not add up, it is maintained that 4 Muslim men were the perpetrators. It has been said that the supposed 4 bombers in question were all carrying documentation which was recovered from each bomb site, allowing police to identify them almost immediately. Somehow, in an explosion which completely destroyed steel carriages, passports made of paper survived. According to West Yorkshire Police, a highly trained terrorist cell, able to elude authorities, managed to leave a car in Luton Station car park with a boot full of explosives, to be found later by police. Why has a paper trail been left that allows the investigation to go in only one direction? What is clear is that there has been a tragic loss of life. Yet despite demands from the Muslim community, the victims' families and the victim support group, the former Prime Minister Tony Blair and the Labour government have constantly rejected the call for a full public independent inquiry into the attacks.
This is about trying to save lives, and I would like an independent inquiry, an inquiry that's independent of government and the security services as to what really happened before the bombs went off.
The reasons given by the government are as follows: that an independent inquiry would prejudice the current investigation, would prevent the police and government focusing on future attacks, would take too much time, cost too much money and divert resources from the war on terrorism. The former Prime Minister, Tony Blair himself, released a statement saying that a public inquiry would be a ludicrous diversion. Instead, we were offered a narrative to be written by the civil services based initially on whatever information the police and the security services chose to provide them. Tony Blair, on December the 14th, said, "I do accept that the people want to know exactly what happened, and we will make sure that they do. We will make sure that we publish a full account of all the information that we have, and," he pledged, "we will bring together all the evidence we have and publish it, so the people, the victims and others can see exactly what happened." This narrative has now been published, but it does not tell us exactly what happened. It is not a full account of all the information, and it is certainly not all the evidence. So did the government really mean what they said? The Shadow Home Secretary, David Davis, said it is becoming more and more clear that the story presented to the public and Parliament is at odds with the facts.